Filmmakers from all over the world have come to Stockholm to talk about their films. In today's program, we'll meet the directors behind 3 of the more amusing films this year, and also one of the most famous cinematographers in the world. But first, let's visit Victorian London with Tanya Wexler. She took a dive into sexual history in a hysterical film about the man who invented the vibrator.
I'm keen for help.
Thank you. Oh, come on!
Not enough hands to do the work.
Hysteria was such a fun film to make. It was, it's why I made it. A friend of mine who's a producer came to me with the idea, and she said, I want to make a film about the invention of the vibrator in Victorian England. It's called Hysteria. And I went, sign me up, I'm in. And then we had to figure out what it was about, because I think the invention of the vibrator as an idea, even in Victorian England, is maybe 15-minute comedy sketch. So then you have to find the story that is underneath that all.
It is strictly a medical treatment that stimulates the nervous system.
Oh. And my writers did a ton of research. I mean, there's a few scholarly books on the topic, and they had bookshelves. It was crazy. So they did research on the invention of the vibrator, Victorian medicine, Victorian mores and customs. But then also we watched tons of romantic comedies, screwball comedies. So we did a lot of film research, and we did a lot of historical research to kind of arrive at something that hopefully felt authentic, because it really did happen, but also is entertaining.
We must find some way to attend to these women properly.
I believe the French had quite a bit of luck using their tongues.
No.
The improvisation grew less out of the dialogue and more out of the physical bits and comedy, and could I grab this and could I do this over here, and then when she says that, can I do that? And that is how you work out comedy always, I think. You just can't do it in your head. If you over-rehearse it, it's not fresh, it's not funny, so you just kind of have to hope you can pull it off on the day.
Who should we try it on?
We are not going to take a dangerous electrical device and press it against a lady's most gentle areas. Are you hurt?
No. Oh, right there.
I think in a way it's a very sweet film if I did my job right. I keep saying I think it's somehow more subversive to have made a vibrator comedy that you can bring your mom to, or your college-age daughter. You may not want to, but you could.
This is my electrical assistant. Everything all right, Mrs. Castellari?
Then something that's, really inaccessible or hard or, really perverted. It's like, there's no bad language, there's no body parts, there's, you know what I mean? And there's a bit of like laughing and innuendo and some funny sounds. And it says all it needs to say. It tells a story, and it's supposed to be fun. And so for me, actually, what it was the most important thing is that I wanted to laugh. I wanted to have fun. And I keep saying if there's a message in the movie is, in a way, you're responsible for your own fun.
Makes you all warm and tingly. Oh, that's it.
Bugger.
Hysteria is not the only sexual comedy in the festival. Japanese director Shinji Imaoka added music as well in his weird film, Underwater Love.
My movie is about 35-year-old women who meets a couple who reincarnated, and he used to be one of her classmates from high school, and they meet together and they become friends. That is the story. I was a great fan of Wong Kar-wai, the Chinese director, and it was actually the German producer who asked him to collaborate with the director, photographer Christopher Doyle this time, so I took the opportunity.
The film was shot by one of the true visual masters, cinematographer Christopher Doyle. He's worked with other festival favorites, such as Wong Kar-wai and Gus Van Sant.
And most of my films happen to be with people who were friends first and then happened to make a film. And finally, because they're very different areas of filmmaking than I usually do. I think the great pleasure of especially of Underwater Love is that we know that the rules of this kind of genre is you have to do it in a very short period of time. We shot in 5.5 days. We know that the budget means that you can only do a certain amount of things with, like with the camera. The real point is that the engagement of cinema or of anything, of writing or of in writing is more direct because it's just writer and reader. So what you have to do is to get to that simplicity. In food, it's the same. It's the person who cooks the food, whether it's your mother or some great chef, and it's you. But the sense of communication is the most important. But then you have to not be there. So that way that the audience accepts the actor, is given something by the actor, but it passes through the third person who is the cinematographer, because we're always the closest, like now, the camera is the closest thing to me.
映画は多分一人では撮れないっていうか、みんながそれぞれの仕事をしなきゃいけない。
I don't know how if it's called responsibility, but I find it very interesting that each person has to work individually. But for me as a director, I like it very much when somehow I betrayed the expectations of co-workers in a way that, for instance, when he says, when the cinematographer asks him, should I take it from a distance or from, would it be like close-up? So he said something completely different, like opposite. So in a way it becomes more creative because it's kind of like a game.
それは集まるメンバーによって毎回違うんで、それが映画のなんか。
It's going to be what we make it. So that's the most important thing to me. That the process is a little journey with a small group of people trying to sort of get some ideas out and communicate them in the process. To me, anyone who joins the journey is part of the journey.
John Michael McDonagh's film, The Guard, is set in a small town on the Irish West Coast. A local policeman with questionable habits and a unique set of values is suddenly forced to cooperate with a more straight-laced FBI agent.
What inspired the film was I'd done a short film a few years ago that had one of the minor characters was this obnoxious policeman who comes into a bar, says some stupid things and then leaves. And I always wondered where he left to, where did he go that night, And then a few years ago there was this massive seizure of drugs off the coast of Cork, the west of Ireland. So I thought, I can put that character into like a crime plot, and then once you've created a character, who's willing to say or do anything and to upset people and annoy people, the next step is, well, who would he annoy the most? So, well, an American FBI agent, black American FBI. So you just keep pushing the comedy further and further.
Head in to attend a briefing from a fella who's over from the FBI.
Now these men are highly dangerous, in the vicinity of $500 million worth of cocaine on board.
Most of my friends, though, a lot of them are, the actors who are in the movie, and they're all quite, let's say, very individualistic people themselves. They're all quite strong characters, so they can all, they're all quite funny people themselves. So they can all hold their own. I'd like to discover if I would be one of those people as well, or whether I'd be able to get my own way. Because I think you should keep challenging yourself, really, not hide away. It's too easy, I think, to stick, in the UK and Ireland, just make those films, sometimes it's good to have pressure. In The Guard, there's a lot of colour in the production design and in the costumes and all that kind of thing. So I like films that are highly stylised.